Welcome to the Tradex Foods 3-Minute Market Insight. I'm Mira Laurence.
I'm Erin Glazier. For this 100th episode of the Tradex Foods 3-Minute Market Insight, President and CEO Rob Reierson has invited us here to report on this week's seafood news. Now, in this milestone episode, we'd like to do a brief summary of the 2012 Alaskan salmon season.
At this point, Alaska salmon fishing is winding down as the majority of the salmon runs finish their spawning migration. We will review some of the highlights of the Alaska Department of Fish and Game in-season harvest summary, comparing actual harvest to projected harvest. Our focus will be the three big commercial salmon fisheries in Alaska: Sockeye, Chum, and Pink.
Let's start with that Sockeye salmon. Sockeye harvest is down 3,090,000 fish against the statewide projection made by the Alaska Department of Fish and Game of 38,371,000 fish. One of the most notable and significant shortages was in Cook Inlet. In Cook Inlet, Sockeye harvest fell short 1,135,000 fish due to what some will say is the direct result of Yukon and Kuskokwim Chinook salmon protection measures implemented by the ADFG. As you may recall from previous episodes, Yukon and Kuskokwim Chinook salmon stocks are at 30-year lows, and the ADFG closed fishing and delayed fishing in many areas to allow Chinook to migrate safely. Cook Inlet is a significant production area for Alaskan sockeye, and the shortfall has had a significant effect on the market. And processors had brisk fresh sales early in the season, selling very large volumes of sockeye, meaning lower frozen inventories. Harvest shortages and these fresh sales have put a strain on the availability of sockeye, causing prices to rise sharply. Now, the Canadian Department of Fisheries and Oceans announced earlier that the Fraser River fishery will not take place, further adding pressure to sockeye inventories. Shortages and strong prices continue to define the 2012 sockeye market. The situation is not likely to improve as primary processors are having difficulty filling their preseason contracts. Prices are up 70 cents higher than they were in 2011, closing at $3.25 US per pound. Very interesting.
Very interesting, Erin. Now let's take a look at Chum salmon. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game's Chum salmon projection was 19,044,000 fish, with actual harvest at 16,833,000 fish. That's a shortfall of 2.21 million chum below projection. There will be fall harvest chum from hatchery and terminal fisheries for roe recovery and roe production. Final numbers from the fishery will not be available until November. The market has been sluggish and prices have been low, down 65 cents to 75 cents per pound in comparison to 2011 prices closing at $1.20 for GMC fish. Despite less than favorable market conditions, processors report that product is moving at these lower prices. One significant factor is Asian secondary processors purchasing large volumes of fish, despite reports of Chinese processors holding very high inventories from 2011 purchases. The last of the big three is pink salmon. Preseason forecast was for 70,191,000 fish harvested statewide. Actual harvest was 63,870,000 fish. Now, the biggest shortfall was in the central region, which includes Bristol Bay, Cook Inlet, and Prince William Sound. Harvest of central pinks was 9,460,000 below the expected catch. The market for pinks was very strong early in the season, with a lot of fish going to canneries to fill a market shortage of canned salmon. Prices were very stable through most of the pink fishing, closing at $1.15 to $1.25 USD per pound Alaska, prices that are comparable to the 2011 pricing. Recently, buyers may have seen slight price softening as Russian products hit the market. Despite this slight price softening, it still appears that pinks will be in short supply over the fall and winter months.
As a point of interest, harvest is down with Chinook, and the majority of the product is targeted for the fresh market. Buyers should see limited product for the shore frozen net and trollfish. There is remaining 2011 troll frozen at sea inventory, as well as 2012 troll frozen at sea product in the market. Prices for the new season fish are as high as $7.50 per pound and as low as $6.50 per pound for the 2011 stock.
Lastly, Erin, Coho salmon fishing is not concluded, and as a fall fishery, we will have to follow up on future episodes. The word in the industry is that Coho will be in short supply and prices are likely to be much higher than last season as buyers turn to Coho to replace Sockeye. Thank you very much for joining us for this special 100th episode of the Tradex Foods 3-Minute Market Insight. I'm Mira Laurence.
I'm Erin Glazier.
Buy smart
and eat more seafood.